Pusheen is out and feeling feisty because she knows it's the big one today. It's the Unihertz Titan 2 Elite versus the OG Unihertz Titan 2. And this is a comment I've gotten a lot. People asking me which of these two devices I would rather have in my pocket, as somebody who's been a physical keyboard fan since the beginning and has kept the faith on these devices over time. And it is not an easy decision to make. It really isn't. Both of these devices, I like them both for different reasons. And there are different times that I crave either one in my pocket. And let me tell you something. That's exactly the feeling that I used to get back in the day when I would sit there and try to choose between my BlackBerry Q20 and the Passport. That's the exact same feeling that I'd have when I was looking at these those two devices, and saying, you know what? I love my Passport. It's one of my favorite devices, if not the favorite device of all time. I want it in my pocket, but there's sometimes you just want that Q20, that sleek form factor, nice and small, compact, great feel in the hand. There are just times when you want that in your pocket. And let me tell you something. That's the exact kind of conflict that I go through when I look at these two devices. They each have their moments when you're going to want both. Ideally, I guess you need to buy both. And listen, it's still total. If you were to pick up both, it's still probably less than what you'd spend on just one flagship phone. So you have that going for you. You can just kind of swap your SIM back and forth between the two. This is getting updated. I just got another update. I think it's an April update they had on this one. So Unihertz has kind of backed up that extended software support that they've promised with actual patches and working on stuff. There was a whole list of bug fixes and tweaks that they made to the original Titan. And then we've got the Titan 2 Elite starting to find its way into more pockets. And then you've got the Titan 2 Elite Pro coming a little bit later this year for those of you who want a little bit more power. That device, I get it. I get wanting that appeal of kind of that future-proofing of that phone, but that extra money really makes this an interesting conversation, or a tougher conversation, even though when you look across the board, all the phones are going up in price. You saw Apple announcing their pricing increases, so things aren't getting cheaper anytime soon. So we have to kind of accept that and look at these phones, not in the individual lighting of, wow, that's a lot for this, but look at the landscape, look at the marketplace. Is it a lot based on what you get and what you wind up getting elsewhere? And that's a different story. So these two devices in particular, let me tell you what I want. If the Titan 2 had the OLED display and not the sub-display on the back, I would want the Titan 2 in my pocket. I love both of them. But at the end of the day, if I could just get that display here, the LCD on the Titan 2 isn't bad. But it is something that you notice immediately. You know it's an LCD. Color's a little washed out, not quite as sharp and vibrant. And you can see side by side. Obviously, it's a bad comparison because we've got this kind of Niagara launcher going on with the little kitty cat taking a break versus this kind of bright, vibrant BlackBerry wallpaper over here on the Titan 2 Elite. But take my word for it. The OLED is gorgeous. The OLED is the best display the Unihertz has ever shipped on a device that I've used. I've used a heck of a lot of them over the years. This is a reason why you'd pick up this phone. And then you just hold it in your hand. And there's something about having that compact, like the 4-inch display, just making for an overall compact device that you can palm. There's something about being able to do that with a full-fledged smartphone in 2026 that's refreshing. And it's an experience that everybody should have at least once to see if they like it. The keyboard is great. I put it right on par with the Titan 2 keyboard, and it has that difference between the Passport and the Q20. I love the key travel on this. Very Bold-esque, BlackBerry Bold 9900-esque. It reminds me of that keyboard. The kind of tapering on both sides, you can see it in the light there. The slant to both sides, it feels like that keyboard, which is a very good thing. Thumb fatigue isn't a thing on the Titan 2 Elite. I could go ahead, pound thousands of words out on here. Messages, emails, back and forth, WhatsApp, doesn't matter. My thumbs are not any worse on this. You know, you get that kind of ligament pain in here in the knuckle. You know what I'm talking about. If you got a bad keyboard, that you're pounding away on. You feel it in your thumbs after a while, and I don't feel that over here. But all of that said, even with the slightly weaker chipset, even with the big bulkiness of it, even with the LCD display, hand on heart, I'm probably still putting this in my pocket, but for the same reasons that I put the Passport in my pocket so many years ago. Love the 1x1 display. Love the slightly larger display. I love this form factor. I love being able to see more of a document. I love being able to see more of my chat. I like the bigger keyboard. I like just having that extra space for my thumbs. And this is a really nice keyboard still. And it's great to type on and not a lot of fatigue here, but I love just having that little bit of extra space as we try to get out of Niagara Launch here. I love I get it, the branding up there that people kind of were turned off by, and the thickness and the sharp corners. I get all that. But even despite those detractions, I want this one in my pocket overall if I had to choose just one device. Now, it's not easy to live with for those reasons that we just mentioned. It is thick. It is a commitment in your pocket. It is a little sharp, a little awkward when you're putting it in and out of your pocket. It's not the easiest phone to live with. You definitely know that you're carrying around a Titan 2 when you carry around a Titan 2. But to me, the benefits outweigh kind of the wonkiness and the sub-display and the whatever else. The benefits outweigh the different detractions with this particular device. But that's not to say that this isn't refreshing and excellent. And when you look at that display and you hold this in your hand and you start using it, you start typing through and you put in those shortcuts like the long presses to open apps and the short presses and the customization that you could have on the keys. You kind of get that customization key going and you put in different things and you kind of have your different combinations going and you remap things the way you want them with the customization that Unihertz gives you on its software. And you see that you're getting that kind of extended support that people have always worried about with Unihertz, and rightfully so. There's a lot to like about this. There's a lot to like about this. So I'll tell you what, it's a good conversation to have. It's a good problem to have that we have two, hopefully at the end of the year, with the Clicks Communicator, soon to be three, really current gen viable options for physical keyboard fans in 2026, which is something that if you had told me that even 2 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you, because we were stuck on devices like this. This is the Titan 2 Slim. Not a bad phone, okay? Unihertz Titan Slim. I don't think it was too slim. Yeah, Titan Slim. Not a bad phone. Not a bad phone. Keyboard was decent travel, bit taller. You can get the right aspect ratio, thicker, whatever. But these feel like a generation above. These feel like phones that deserve to be in your pocket in 2026, whereas this felt like something that you wanted a keyboard and it was a decent-ish mid-range phone, but it felt like it was a generation behind. I don't get that feeling with these two devices here. These feel like current 2026 devices that have a keyboard where the software experience is built around the keyboard as opposed to just slapping Android on here and then slapping a keyboard on the bottom of it. And that's the biggest difference that I've felt in the last few years, specifically with Unihertz devices, is that the company's done an excellent job building the experience around the keyboard as much as you can on Android. There are always going to be limitations on Android. There are always going to be things that you just can't do. But I really like what the company has done. It just really is excellent. You can see just kind of the two experiences here. Look, they both, to me, I would both want, there are reasons why I want both in my pocket. I get it if you want a bit more space over here, your thumbs, your bit bigger hands, you want the thumbs, you want the wider experience here. I get it, but it's tough to tell, again, on camera because the camera's going to do its best to balance these two. But this screen is, you look at it, and that watch right now is jumping off that page, whereas this watch, I could tell I'm looking at it through an LCD. That might not bother you. If you're a keyboard fan from back then, you may not care. That might not be the thing. And you do get a better social media experience over here. You do get a fuller Instagram and X experience and Facebook experience over here. It feels a little less compromised over here because you do get to see a full post. You do get to see those things. Whereas over here, it could get a little cramped sometimes. But that's a decision each individual is going to have to make. Both are great on battery life. Both are great keyboards. Both are the performance is smooth on both. I just think that it is the old school choice. If you were somebody that had that Passport in your pocket and you wouldn't trade for anything, get a Titan 2. If you loved your Q10, Q20, bold 9900, and you're like, oh, gee, I miss that. I don't need this big bulky thing knocking around in my pocket. You put it in your shorts pocket, you're going around, you're banging into stuff left and right. Get yourself this, and you'll be pleased. And you'll be absolutely thrilled with it because it's just a great experience. It's been a great, listen, I'm spoiled in that I could go back and forth between these two. And that's been a phenomenal experience. But just understand, both are great. You're not making a wrong decision, but understand there are limitations to this form factor. It's a commitment. Whereas this one, nice, not necessarily sleek, but a little lighter, compact. You can hold it like this, and you're getting a smartphone that doesn't feel overly compromised to get to that kind of light, get to that feel in the hand. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have the Steve-licious day.